Okay, hi, this is Talia,
I'm Kahle.
and we're going to do the nervous system today. So, Kahle will start it off.
Okay, the nervous system. The function of the nervous system is to obtain information about the outside environment, to make decisions and direct activities of the body. So here's a few things you should know when talking about the nervous system. The nerve. It's a cable-like collection of neuron extensions. So what's a neuron? A neuron is a nerve cell. It's the structural and functional unit of the nervous system. So let's look at the diagram. You start with the dendrite, which receives information, then the cell body, then the axon, which transmits information, then the myelin sheath, which is chains of Schwann cells, and then the nodes of Ranvier, which are places on the axon where signals can be transmitted, and the synaptic terminal, which are caverns to the next cell. So there are three types of neuron cells. The first one is the sensory neuron, which brings information to the central nervous system from the sensory cells, which consist of the eyes, skin, and nose. Then there's the interneuron, which collects data from the sensory neurons and relay messages back to the motor neurons. And then the motor neurons convey information from the central nervous system to effector cells, which stimulate muscles and glands. Something else you want to know about the nervous system are reflexes, which are automatic responses to a stimuli, like a knee jerk.
Okay, so I'm going to go over resting and action potential. First, a review of membrane potential, which is the difference of charges from the inside and the outside of a cell. Almost all cells, the inside is negative, and that is from proteins, which have a negative charge, and the potassium sodium pump, which pumps sodium out and potassium in. There's also gated channels. For the sodium channel, it is always closed, not allowing sodium inside. However, for the potassium channel, it is open, allowing potassium out, and the pump keeps pumping potassium in. So potassium is pumped in, though it leaves through diffusion through the channel, and sodium is pumped out all the time, and it can't enter the cell. Okay, so the action potential. A nerve cell starts out at a resting potential, which is negative 70 millivolts, positive outside, negative inside. I already went over this. Then there's a stimulus, which begins to open sodium channels. The sodium channels begin to open up, and as they open up, they eventually reach a threshold in which sodium begins to rush into the cell, and the action potential completely starts. If the voltage reaches a peak inside the cell, then the sodium channels close, and the potassium channels, even more potassium channels, open, and potassium begins to exit the cell more so than it is being pumped in. The potassium channels take a long time to close, so therefore there's an undershoot in the voltage, lower than negative 70 millivolts. Then it returns to resting potential, and the start to finish for this entire process is 1 to 2 milliseconds. So at the end, when it gets to the end of the axon, it needs to get to the next cell's dendrites. Well, first, neurotransmitters are transported through vesicles, and they are released by exocytosis. They go on to the postsynaptic nerve cells, gated channels, the sodium channels, and activates them to start opening up, and you have another action impulse in the next cell. And a neurotransmitter that you should always remember, by the way, is acetylcholine. It's very important. And remember that the area between the presynaptic cell and the postsynaptic cell is the synaptic cleft.
Okay, so there are two main divisions of the nervous system. There's the peripheral nervous system and the central nervous system. The central nervous system is broken into the brain and the spinal cord. The peripheral nervous system is broken into the somatic and the autonomic. The somatic carries signals to and from the skeletal muscles. It's a response to external stimuli, while the autonomic regulates the internal environment with the smooth and cardiac muscle. The autonomic is broken into the sympathetic, the parasympathetic, and the enteric. The sympathetic prepares the body for intense energy, consuming activities, including the fight and flight response. The parasympathetic works antagonistically with the sympathetic and prepares the body for activities that gain and conserve energy for the body. The enteric is a complex neuron networks in the pancreas and the digestive tract. It also controls secretions. So this is all you need to know about the nervous system. You should be prepared for the final. So have fun studying.